What is up guys, Vincener here again, and in this video we will talk about the best counters for the new 7-star TERA raid HISUIAN TYPHLOSION in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Without further ado, let's get into it. By the way, before I start, if this is your first time in this channel, please do subscribe as it will help the channel grow. Currently I'm trying to hit the 1k subscribers mark, so I would definitely appreciate your big help. Anyway, back to the video. So just like the other 7-star TERA raid, this HISUIAN TYPHLOSION can be encountered twice. First, it will be available on November 3rd to 5th, and it will come back on November 10th until November 12th. Now let's discuss the details of this HISUIAN TYPHLOSION. This Pokemon is a Fire Ghost type, but the TERA type it will have is Fire. The ability it will use most likely is Blaze. So when its HP is below 1/3 its maximum, the power of fire type moves is increased by 50%. Now the weaknesses of this Pokemon are going to be water, ground, and rock. And this Pokemon guys is a special attacker, as you can see here. The base special attack is 119. Now the best Pokemon to use against it is a physical attacker, as its defense stat is lower than the special defense. But we can also use a special attacker as there isn't much difference. Now these are the possible moves. We have Eruption, Burning Jealousy, Flamethrower, and Heat Wave for its stab. For Ghost type moves, it can use Infernal Parade, Hex, and Nightshade. For status moves, it could possibly have Calm Mind to raise its special attack and special defense, Smoke Screen to lower our accuracy, Sunny Day to raise its fire type attacks, Will-O-Wisp to inflict us with the burn. There are also other less likely moves it will use, but still possible. We have Brick Break or Focus Blast to counter rock type Pokemons, Thunder Punch to counter water type Pokemons, Solar Beam to counter water types again. This is also partnered with Sunny Day. And lastly, we have Stumping Tantrum again to counter rock types. So those are the possible moves. Now in order to counter the HISUIAN TYPHLOSION, I have tried to search for the top best Pokemons that could possibly beat it. Let's discuss guys the Pokemons that can possibly solo it. First one guys is Baxcalibur. This is a Dragon Ice type Pokemon. This Pokemon has a chance to solo Typhlosion as long as there's no rock or fighting type moves. This Pokemon is a physical attacker with a good special defense. The one thing I love about this Pokemon is its ability Thermal Exchange. It counters the fire type moves. The effect is that its attack stat is boosted whenever it is hit by a fire type move. At the same time, the Pokemon cannot be burned. For the moves, we have Earthquake for our Terra Stab move, Bulldoze another Terra Stab move and has an effect of making Typhlosion slow, Swords Dance to raise our attack stat, and Rain Dance for us to weaken the fire type moves. Lastly, the recommended build is in the right corner. For the EV spread, I have put 252 each in the attack and special defense stats, and the remaining 6 are in HP. The Terra type is ground, and nature is adamant, and the item is Shell Bell for us to gain some HP for survivability. Second Pokemon guys is the HISUIAN Samurott. This is a water dark type Pokemon, so that means fire and ghost type moves are weak to it. However, we need to make sure that the HISUIAN TYPHLOSION doesn't have grass, electric, or fighting type moves. Now for the ability, I recommend that we use Sharpness as this increases the power of slicing moves of Samurott by 50%. For the moves, we have Razor Shell and Aqua Cutter for the water stab. These two moves are slicing moves, so the power are increased by 50% because of the ability Sharpness. In addition, these two moves also have secondary effects. Razor Shell may lower the target's defense stat, and Aqua Cutter has a heightened chance of landing a critical hit. Now the other two moves are Swords Dance to raise our attack stat, and Screech to reduce the defense stat of Typhlosion. Just a reminder guys that Aqua Cutter and Screech are egg moves. Lastly, the recommended build is in the right corner. For the EV spread, it is same as Baxcalibur. Attack is 252, special defense is 252, HP is 6, Terra type is water, nature is adamant, and the item is Shell Bell again for us to gain some HP for survivability. Third is Landorus. This Pokemon is a ground flying type. It doesn't have any weakness from the move pool of the HISUIAN Typhlosion. The form that we will use is its incarnate form. This Pokemon has a base attack of 125 and a special defense of 80. And it also has two great abilities you can use at your advantage, Sand Force and Sheer Force. For Sand Force, Ground type, Rock type, and Steel type moves have their power increased by 30% in a sandstorm, and it will not receive any damage. And for the second one, the hidden ability, Sheer Force, will make moves with a secondary effect increase in power by 30%. However, it will lose their secondary effect. But another great thing about Landorus is that it can be a physical and a special attacker. These are the movesets I think that are best against the HISUIAN Typhlosion. For physical, we have Sword Stance to raise our attack stat, Earthquake for our staff move, Sandstorm to increase our ground type move power by 30%. This will also hurt Typhlosion every turn. And by the way, Sand Force is the ability you should have for this physical attacker moves. And lastly, we have Taunt for us to counter Typhlosion in case it has status moves that will greatly affect us during the TERA raid. For the special attacker, we have Nasty Plot to raise our special attack stat, Earth Power for our staff move, and Sandstorm and Taunt again. Lastly, the recommended builds for the physical and special attackers are on the right corner. Fourth Pokemon is the legendary Koraidon. This Pokemon doesn't have any weakness from the move pool of the HISUIAN Typhlosion. In addition, the ability Aurical Compulse also gives our attack stat a boost as we enter the TERA raid. Now for the moves, we have Sword Stance, we have Stumping Tantrum for our TERA stab, Screech to lower the defense stat of Typhlosion, and Drain Punch for our survivability. Lastly, the recommended build is in the right corner. For the EV spread, I have put 252 each, both in attack and special defense. HP is 6. TERA type is ground, nature is adamant, and for the item, you can use Expert Belt or Leftovers. Fifth is Iron Thorns. This is a rock electric type Pokemon. This has a chance if there is no grass or ground type attacks. This is a physical attacker with a good special defense stat. And as usual, as a Paradox Pokemon, its ability is Quark Drive. It will increase its high stat by 30% or 50% for speed, while Electric Terrain is activated or if the booster energy is attached. Now the moves that I recommend are Electric Terrain to activate our ability, Earthquake for our TERA Staff move, Sandstorm to damage Typhlosion every turn, and at the same time, it boosts our special defense stat. And lastly, Sword Stance to increase our attack stat. The recommended build for this Pokemon is in the right corner. For the EV spread, I have put 252 each in attack and special defense. HP is 6, TERA type is ground, nature is adamant, and for the item, Shell Bell for our survivability. The last one, guys, is Snorlax. This is only a normal type Pokemon, but it has a lot of advantages against the HISUIAN Typhlosion. Its ability Thick Fat counters the fire type moves. The effect of Thick Fat is that fire and ice type moves will only deal 50% damage. And since Snorlax is a normal type Pokemon, ghost type moves will have no effect. The only move type we should be careful is fighting, so hopefully Typhlosion doesn't have that. Best moves I think it can use are High Horsepower for the ground TERA Stab, Screech to lower the defense stat of Typhlosion, Belly Drum to maximize our attack stat, and Rain Dance to further weaken the fire type moves. Lastly, the recommended build is in the right corner. EV spread will focus on attack and HP. Both will have 252. Special defense is 6. TERA type is ground, nature is adamant, and Shell Bell will be the item for our survivability. So that's it, guys. Those are the possible counters and my personal recommended builds for the new 7-star Terra raid HISUIAN TYPHLOSION. Just to remind you that these are not yet final. We might need to wait for the Terra raid for us to know what's the best Pokemon and what's the best build. So I'm just really giving you ideas. I will leave other possible Pokemons that we can use in the comment section. So let's talk about it. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you a lot. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more awesome videos like this. Vincener here. See you next time. Take care.